Hello, welcome back to the Astronomicon, the Eternal Crusade show. Today I have two treats for you. The first is an interview with studio head Miguel Caron and a fan called Jamal who got to play the game. And then stay tuned after the interview because there is exclusive gameplay footage of Jamal's play test through the game. Hello and welcome back to the Astronomicon, the Eternal Crusade show. With me today, once again, is Miguel Caron, studio head of Behaviour Online. And with him is Jamal, who I believe has just played the game for the first time. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. And again, I apologize, Cosmic, because I was late in our interview. But Jamal is a fan that just contacted us, wanted to play the game. He's from Ottawa, so he drove 2 hours to come and play the game. And it was the same time that you booked my interview. So thank you for accepting to switch the subject of our interview because Jamal had the chance to play our game. And you know, when we talk about transparency, actually he played something I haven't seen yet. So I'll send you a video where he's playing the PVE aspect. So these are the underground caves where you need waves and waves of Tyranid. And I didn't even know that was a playtest today. So he played it before me, and I discovered what the team made in the same time that he did. And so you got to see some of our Orcs models, some of our Gene Stealer model, the Tyranid model, and he played in the underground cave. So feel free to yes and sign an NDA because he seems to like the game. So because of that, I didn't make him sign an NDA. So you can ask him any type of question, and I'll send you the video where he plays later on, and you'll be able to share it with your viewers.
That'd be great. So Jamal, tell us everything.
Okay, first, the control scheme is awesome. There's no difference. Like if you unplug your controller, you can just hop on your keyboard and mouse with no problem. Both interfaces are really awesome. The coolest thing that I found on the controller is on the controller pad, when you press up, you actually can do like a salute or a battle cry, and then you can also crouch at the same time. So it's pretty funny when someone's dead. So yeah, I got to run around in Tunnel Network. That's going to be for the PVE. Like Miguel said, there was nothing really going on with the Tyranids, but I came across a couple interesting models. One that was really big, and I was like, what's that in the corner? It's super dark. And I ran over, and yeah, it was pretty awesome. I came across the Orc model, just a regular Orc boy. He wasn't moving either, so I shot him a little bit. I played with the devs. Yeah, it was lots of fun. I ran around, I dodged, I jumped, I stabbed things. It's a great time.
So what are your first impressions of the control scheme in general? Because obviously you played on a controller.
Yeah.
How fluid is everything feeling so far?
I'm really enjoying the fluid. It's very similar to most first-person shooter control schemes. Yeah, your thumbsticks are the same out, your jump buttons, your shoot, everything's the same. The little differences are the cover mechanic. I'm allowed to talk about that. Okay. Yeah. So the cover mechanic is not a sticky cover mechanic. You're not. You don't have to go up and press X or something to get into cover. You can just go up, crouch, and then when you try to aim around a corner, it automatically covers you, and it goes on the side. Same if you're playing as something like a heavy support choice, and you go behind a wall, and then you have to bring your big gun on top and just start wailing at things. So heavy bolters are really strong, and don't run into them because you die. I died way too many times because I'd run in and then there'd just be a guy standing there with a heavy bolter, and I'm trying to jump out of the way and he kills me. Yeah,
actually, because we don't have the shields yet, like the big shields. Once you have the shields mechanic, actually it allows me to tell you about a new features that you haven't had the chance to experience because you didn't cover.
Yeah, I didn't do that with covering.
But it's the suppressing fire mechanic. So it's all about emotion. So when you're undercover and a heavy bolter like a devastator starts shooting him on your cover or above your head, then we want to make you scared. I know Space Marine don't get scared, but the guy controlling it can get scared. And what happens is your screen is shaking and it's kind of flu, and then your aiming goes AWOL until he stops shooting. You still can shoot him, but it's harder, and it really makes you feel under suppressing fire because that's the purpose. And that's a very cool mechanic that you haven't experienced.
Actually, another thing that I learned about is unlike in well, it was the same kind of in Space Marine, but there's a blocking mechanic for melee, so you can actually block bullets and stuff as you're like moving forward. It's not like it's crazy gonna protect you, but it's just a bit. And
like this,
yeah, you bring up your chainsaw and you kind of have your bolt pistol and you're just trying to hold off whatever shots to get in there. That was really cool to actually see that there's a way that if you're getting cornered by someone who's a melee type and you can't move as quickly, you can actually at least block their devastating attack. So if someone had a Thunderhammer, you're not going to get one shot like right off the bat at least.
One of the things that Jamal made me discover, because I didn't know about that, the team implemented that, is that there's a lot, the blocking is one. If someone keeps blocking, then you can kick him to unblock, and then you can attack. That I knew. But the other mechanic that you have is you can roll on the right, on the left, back. You can roll backward, you can roll forward to avoid getting hit. But what he did, it's because the tunnels, it's not like just tunnels. There's area where there's more than one tunnels arriving, so you can jump 2 level down or you can, if you had a jump height, you can jump 2 level up even though you're underground. And he jumped down, but in the same time he did the roll. So he actually rolled in the air and he felt on his feet with a big screen shake, like like this. And I thought it was just luck, but no, the team implemented the follow-up animation that if you jump while you roll, you do actually a flip and then you fall on the ground. So I was
yeah, that's pretty cool.
I was quite impressed.
And it's still an early build, but what's the feedback of the game like with the gunplay and the melee combat? Does it feel, like you said with the screen shaking and things like that? Is it already starting to feel like
epic?
Yeah. Well, it reminds me a lot of Space Marine. And I personally really liked that. Every time I think about Space Marines, I think heavy Titans almost that are just going into battle, right? Everything shakes as they move, and it like you're shooting a bolt pistol, and it feels like you're firing a hand cannon, right? It's got a very I think the feel right now is really awesome. I wish I could play like Eldar and stuff, other races, so I could see what they're like. But for Space Marines, it definitely feels like you're a Space Marine. You're big, honking muscle mass that shoots giant pop can sized bullets.
Which, that's good. That's definitely something that I'm looking forward to with the addition of more races, with especially Eldar. I really want the feel to be so different from a Space Marine. I want a Space Marine to feel powerful and heavy, and I want an Eldar to feel kind of more finesse, more speedy. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, because we've just got Matthew's newsletter today. Which had some concept art for Eldar Warriors, and that just made me smile. I was like, yeah, more of that please. So that'd be great. So overall, what did you come out thinking about the game in terms of where it's going, and how do you think that, based on what you've played today, what it's going to be like next year?
And please include the things that you didn't like, that you want us to improve. It's transparency. We're not just faking it.
I'm trying to think of stuff I didn't really enjoy. As a developer as well, I understand where they are in their project, so I can understand what I'm seeing versus someone who comes from just playing fully finished video games. Their progress is really great. It's really good. I originally thought they actually had more people on their team. I'm now up in their building and I got to see their entire floor, and it's just one floor of devs. And I honestly thought they had double that number when I saw what they were at in since December pretty much. Yeah,
December, the one that you're playing on now, the full one with the network. By the way, another thing that I didn't know, he played it, it's our first version that the server's in the cloud. So he played the version that is in the cloud.
Yeah.
So that was, I didn't know that the team was that far off already. Right now, just to let you know, what he played on was made when we were like 25, 30 people, was started to be worked on. Right now, we're 40 on the team. And the maximum team size, once we finish pre-production in June, once we launch the Founders Program, it's going to be like 60-ish, people for the full team size. And this is where we're going to have game design position as well. And obviously Jamal wants to fly, so...
But no, as far as I can tell so far, they've captured a lot of I talked to a lot of the people here, and they're fans. And as much as Miguel is always talking, like everything I've seen on the internet of Miguel talking is everyone's a fan here. No, it's true. I can talk like lore stuff. I can bring up just kind of those random little words that if you don't play 40K, you don't really know what the heck someone's talking about. That was something really nice to actually feel. And oh, there's models everywhere. They literally almost have everything from Games Workshop. It's pretty cool. But yeah, no, I mean,
how many armies do you have?
I have 4. Between me and my roommates, we pretty much had everything except for Sisters of Battle, but that's expensive.
Cool. So, Miguel, we've got more and more information about the Founders Packs now.
Yes.
And I've spoken to a lot of the community recently about Founders Packs. Some of them really love the idea. There's some who are skeptical about the idea simply because in the past there has been video games companies who have literally taken
the past, you mean just this week there's 2 of them. I won't name the company, but there's 2 of them that came out with a Founder Pack. And you know what? I understand. I didn't understand at the beginning because all the fans want it, but they were very prudent. You know, they were not like, yay! It was more like, okay, but explain to me how you're going to do it. And I was like, really? Like, okay. And I didn't understand until this week. I saw the 2 Founders Pack for 2 different games that I've launched this week. Again, I don't like to talk negatively about people by naming these games, so I won't. But I was completely shocked. And then I went like, okay. I know, dear Crusader, why now you ask me all these questions? Because I've seen it's a free-to-play game. The pack was sold for $200, and they give you items worth $100. The game is launching very, very soon, and it's going to be free-to-play. So basically, you're paying $100 to be a beta tester for 2 months. And I was like, what? Seriously? So I understand why the fans were prudent. But yes, go ahead with your question. But our Founders Pack is completely different than what I've seen in the marketplace.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about obviously getting that across, because people just hear, especially people coming who are new to the game and just starting to learn about Eternal Crusade, they see Founders Pack, and then they already have a preconception in their head about what that entails. And especially with things like the rise of early access on Steam, where people are paying money hand over fist to play unfinished products and sometimes not even receiving the product that they were promised at the end. You know, what would you say to those people who are a bit wary of the Founders Packs? And
okay, so the first thing that let's teach your viewers the difference between crowdfunding and pre-order, okay? Because that's very important. People think it's semantic, but it's not. Crowdfunding, it's when you look at a package that you're buying, whatever it is, or it doesn't matter. You look at the package and you cannot correlate the value versus the natural value of something you would do in game. As an example, you buy a Founders Pack for $2,000, you know? There's no video game that launches that no one will pay $2,000 to play a video game. Or a Founders Pack it's called Shut Up and Take My Money, that is $5, and you get a thank you from Miguel. You don't get the game access, you don't get anything, you know. Again, there's no correlation between what you're paying and what you're doing in game. Versus in Eternal Crusade, it's true pre-order. You know, our business model is an hybrid business model. So we have the 4 major factions that are premium, and then we have the Orcs Boys, which are free to WoW. By the way, we changed the model. We don't call it free to play, we call it free to WoW. So, and I'm supposed to scream, but I've been working 14 days in a row and I have no more voice to scream. So, and again, we have absolutely no pay to win mechanic in the store. And I mean it by saying, I'm not following some of the fan perception of what pay to win. I mean, really pay to win, meaning that if I use XP Booster and a fan that has been playing the game never use XP Booster, but play more often than he can still beat the crap out of me. You know, it doesn't matter. It's just that when I play with my squad, because I'm an executive, I have 2 kids. I don't have 20 hours to spend a week. But when I play with my squad, I don't want to be the duck with a broken leg. You know, I want to be able to still enjoy it. So the XP booster is basically for me. So the XP booster is to allow me to be still be good with my squad, but it will not allow me to basically kill people or be better than people. The actual whole game stops. Even if we wanted in the store to have pay to win mechanic, the game mechanic stops you from doing it, because your progression is not about getting stronger, it's about being able to do more stuff and being able to have a variety of tools to wage war. So you will be able to use many more different strategy but it depends really of the situation. So it's not because I have a dreadnought that I'm stronger than everybody else, because you're like Eldars. Well, Eldar with some of their ranged weapon, a dreadnought is way too slow. He's going to get killed like this, you know. So it really depends of the mechanic you use to wage war. But so we're starting the Founders program. The pricing is very, very affordable. The lowest price that we're going to do, and I won't tell you. I'm giving a range because it's something I want to keep. There's some marketing things that I want to keep for the hype, and it's still 6 weeks before E3, so I will tell you, Mike, and I will tell you in advance, but I'm trying to keep it the pace, because there's a hype that we're trying to build now, you know, a positive hype about the game, and so that's why we increased the newsletter for once per week, and we're trying to tell all the fans a lot more about it, because we don't want for them to buy the Founders program if they're not certain that they like the game. So as an example, when we talk about transparency, people in my position, when they're asked question about, okay, is there PVE in the game? And normal people in normal VP marketing industry would say, yes, there's PVE and there's PvP, so there's enough for everybody. If you don't like PvP, that's good, but it doesn't matter because we have PVE. But the truth is, there's 10% of PvE in the game, and 90% of the game is PvP. It's more like 85-15, you know? So there is PvE, but if you're only a PvE player, you're only having a small experience, and you're missing a huge part of Eternal Crusade. And if you don't want to do PvP, well, don't play our game and don't buy the Founders program. So I'm not, again, trying to get a big market, get people to buy it, and then get a lot of them frustrated because the game is not what they expected it to be. Hence why I'm having people like Jamal playing the game, saying it completely transparent. Now, when you buy, so the package will be between $50 and $100. There's more to it, but that's the part that I'm waiting later on to tell you. And they're not tier system. So when you buy a package, let's say you buy an $80 package, just to give you an example, you're not buying a package of $80, you're buying 80,000 points. And for $50, you have 50,000 points. These are not requisition point, they're tabletop point. You know, in this, of course, the scale is off, but it's like because a 50,000 point game would be quite long to play. But you see why later on it makes sense. So once you have your points, so first of all, when you buy $80, you have 80,000 points. So I'm not reducing the amount of points. Let's say $1 equals 1,000 points, okay? And that's going to be like this when we launch the game as well. But on top of that, you're getting a game key, right? So once the game launched, you paid for the game, plus the items that is equal to it. So either see it that you're buying $80 worth of items and I'm giving you the game for free, or you're buying the game and I'm giving you 80,000 points free. So either or, but I'm not double dipping you. So you're getting both for the same amount, right? So that's the first thing. And then you're getting a lot of bonuses. Things like it could be a $25 coupon discount if you want to upgrade your NVIDIA hero card, as an example. That's something that you'll see and announce a lot of these things. Of course, you have closed beta access. The beta access is going to come because when we start closed beta, we won't need the amount of, so if there's 200,000 people buying the Founders program, the first closed beta that we'll do maybe in September, October, we won't need 200,000 people. So the mechanic will do its first come, first serve. We have in a database, the first person that's going to buy the first Founder is going to be the first one to be called upon. And then as soon as we grow it, then we grow it afterwards, up to the point where we make sure that we cover everybody. Because one of the things that in my past businesses and in my experience as a gamer, often I'm being told, yeah, you're going to be part of the forum, the beta, you're going to be part of the beta. And then I'm not part, and suddenly it's open beta where everybody is allowed. And then I said, well, I mean, everybody's allowed. So you told me because I pre-order that I was allowed in the beta. They said, well, you're allowed now. Well, come on, it's open to everyone. So we want to make sure that for the founders, they will have the time that only the founders will have the beta, but it's going to go step by step. The good part is, you know, my other project, right? Which is Star Citizen. So one of the things that we're doing, and you'll see the angle is going to be mostly understood, the deep of the angle is going to be understood by the 40K fans, and the other one will understand as well. So let me just speak as Space Marine, but it's the same mechanic with a different story for the other one. So the Founder Program in June, basically what it is, it's you and I, Mike, we're, let's say with Space Marine, we're leaving Terra because you know what? When our general gave us the campaign mechanic and the orders to go on Arcona, you and I, we were selected to be the spearhead. You know, the spearhead mechanic that you see in 40K. So then you and I, we go to our strike cruiser and we fly through the warp to Arcona, which is in the Obscurum sector, and right beside the Eye of Terror in the Caron system. So you'll see that later on throughout the reveal we'll do. But the trip to go to Arcona through the Materium, because of warp storm and things like that, is going to take about 18 months. So we have 18 months, which is, you know, it's the time that it takes us to make the game, right? So you'll be in your strike cruiser, and suddenly maybe throughout the trip, these are things are not, I'm giving you example. It might not be exactly what I'm telling you, but at one point in time, I'm going to say, okay, your training cage is ready. So suddenly we're going to have a patcher where the player, a bit like the hangar in Star Citizen, where you'll spawn inside your strike cruiser in the training room where you have a shooting range and you have a training cage with maybe a servitor or something like that. And then there's a door it's locked, right? And then that door is locked. Suddenly, a few months later, that door's unlocked. And then you end up with a hallway with different quarters where all your squad is there. So you have your room, your personal room, when you can decorate, you can do stuff, and then your squad is there. And then there's another door at the end of it. Suddenly unlocks a few months later, and then you're in a strategarium where you can have a map of Arcona, and your squad commander, probably most likely going to be a squad commander, Mike, and then you're in there, and you have a map of Arcona where you see where the other guild's going to be. I know that there's a big Russian guild that there are about 2,000 players, and they only play Chaos. So and I know they're already teasing Battle Brothers and Jordan Dark Angel Guild as well. So you start planning. You know where that Russian guild is going to be staying on Arcona, and we give you a little bit tools, a bit like Napoleon, tools that you can move the pieces and then start planning or draw on the map. Or, as I said, I'm just giving you executive example. Brent will just slap my head if because the application of it is a lot more detailed, and I'll let the designer do that. But just to give you an emotional perspective of the experience, unto the point that you're going to be in orbit around Arcona. That's probably a month before launch, you know, and then you're going to start seeing things happening and stuff, and you might see other strike cruiser arriving with you, and that's the experience we're going to give you, and only founders will have that experience, no other player. The other thing about the Founders Program is what it is to be a founder if everybody can have the same thing afterwards. We're going to destroy everything that has to do with the items you guys are going to buy in the next 18 months. And no one will ever see these items again in the game. The other thing is we're launching at E3, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. After that, Stephanie and David have a roadmap of new items that will add to the store every month. So there's going to be, you know, tens of items being added to the store every month. And once you buy a package and you have your points and you get all the extras of it, then you go to the Rogue Trader store. And this is where you have all your points, and then you can build your package. We give you 4 character slots. That's another thing about transparency. You know, a lot of the MMOs that have 4 faction, they give you 3 slots, and they monetize the 4th one because they want to make sure that I'm missing 1 slot to try everything. That's cheesy marketing, I call it. And you guys deserve more than that. So yeah, there's 4 faction. We give you 4 slots. Of course, if you want to try every sub-faction, then it's 16 slots. That you have to monetize, but that means you're OCD, you know? So if you don't want to erase any character and you want to try all the 16 sub-faction, then yeah, you do need to pay for the extra slot. But once you have your 4 slot, all factions are open, but the points you need to apply it to whoever you want. Of course, if you buy the $80 package, you have 80,000 points. If you apply it to all 4 factions, then you won't be able to have a lot of items per faction. But most people will apply it to 1 faction, and spend it and look at it and okay, it's cool. And then suddenly we're going to come up with other stuff. There's a reset button. You press reset, you will reimburse all your points, and you can really start again as many times as you want until a few weeks before launch, where we're going to tell you now it's time to lock it. You know, you need to lock it, because once you lock it, then you can drop ship to Arcona, and then it's locked. So you spent the point for real once the game is there, right? We have other items as well that, should I say this or should I not say it? Yeah, let's say it. Yeah. So there's other items as well that will sell even for the founders, and it's not my choice. This is a lore and my licensor guideline, so I'm not even allowed to if I wanted to. There's some items that will be limited, like the Horus Heresy items, like the items from the 31st millennium, you know. And the reason why I'm limited by law for this is because obviously 10,000 years later, there's not a lot of these items that survived 10,000 years, right? Plus, with the limit of people, I'm going to have, not the limit, but the amount of people I'm going to have on Arcona, I'm limited with these items. So these items will be sold in real cash, not in points. And once there's no more, there's no more. The game stays live for 15 years. It's gone forever, and no one ever can take it back and can buy it back. Sorry. We do allow gifting as well. But seriously, if someone buys a Corvus mask and there's only 100 of them available, I don't think he's going to gift it to somebody else. So it's funny because I'm discussing with different partners like NVIDIA's and Razer and Alienware and all these partners. Like the laptop I have, and where you saw the fan playing on is an Alienware laptop. And these are business people, right? But they're already trying to negotiate with me to have some of these exclusive items for them as a player, as a fan. I'm saying, no, these, I won't put you in front of a fan. The fan are our bosses, and they have the first right to buy these exclusive items because they're limited. So.
And how, with the business model as it's going to be, how sustainable do you think that is long term?
I trust. I decided to trust on the fan and trust on the dev, hence why we have no marketing firewall. I trust that the fan, so first of all, the quantity of items that we're gonna have is huge, you know, and that's the thing that allows me to have that approach with the 40K universe, because it's 30 years of stuff. And I mean, I will never be able to put everything that exists in the universe, the 40 years, in the game. So the amount of items that you will have is going to be there for us to be successful. The other thing is, as Jamal said, the reason why we can be honest as well with our pricing is because our customer string is very lean. You saw like Jamal was surprised to see how many people we had. Like a lot of larger AAA studio to be as far as we are would need double the amount of people. Yeah. So my cost of making the game is more affordable. So it means I can be profitable with lowest revenue, which we don't expect to have lowest revenue, but still it allows me to not sell Founders Program at $200, you know, and just for you guys to have the rights to play the beta. So it allows us to be coherent in our approach as well, financially.
I noticed on, I think it was on the forums or on Twitter recently, you did say that you were talking about Steam, and that it was not a question of if you were going to go on Steam, but when. And when do you think that the game will hit Steam, with obviously Steam having now pretty much a monopoly on digital distribution?
Well, your answer is in your question a little bit, and I hope that Steam is not watching our chat, because I love them to death, you know. This is something where I'm kind of bipolar about, because I'm on the two sides of the fence. I'm a developer and I'm a player. I'm a crazy player. I play video games all the time. As a player, my God, I love Steam. Still to date is my best online buying experience, and they make it so easy, and it's really well made. It's sharp. There's no too many clicks. It's lean, and I love it. But what I'm doing right now with you and with Jamal, Steam is not involved. Like, Steam did not spend 2-3 hours with Jamal today. I did, you know. So when we launch the Founders Program and when we launch the game, what we want is to be rewarded for treating you well and rewarded for taking care of our community. That community will buy our game. First, most of them will buy the Founders Program, but some of them that are waiting for the game to be launched will buy the game within the first month that is going to be launched. So I don't want to give Steam 30% of my revenue for the life of that player forever, for the next 10 years, when I took care. I went in his room, I picked it up from his couch, or you, like the first video you made about us was quite negative. You know, I took the time to call you, to tell you, you got it wrong, let me explain it to you, and then I explained it to you, and now you're interested in the game, because I opened the hood, I went, you checked everything, I got completely transparent with you. Well, once you buy the game, well, you probably won't have to buy it, because I'm probably going to be nice and give you a key, and probably I'll give you some key from your viewer as well, for the Founders Program, actually. So that's an insight reveal type of thing, by the way. So I don't want you to give to reward Steam for the time I took with you, but 1 month or 2 months after the game is released, then all the people we took care of will have bought the game. Now, the people that don't know about us, the people that Steam took care of for a long, long time, you know, then of course I have no problem paying Steam and giving them their share due for that. So that's what we're thinking, you know, something like a month, maybe 2 months after the game is released, then we go on Steam. And it looks like there's more and more companies doing that. But I'm saying this, maybe Steam, they have a monopoly, but because there's more and more companies doing that, maybe Steam will adjust their approach a little bit to make the difference between the player that I took care of for a long, long time versus the player that they bring me. Maybe they'll be able to do a difference between both, and maybe I don't mind even paying them a little bit for the player I took care of, just to take care of the back end and everything, the ease of use and blah, 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 but not 30% for the lifetime of that player. That's too much for someone I will massage for real for the next, 18 months.
So it's more of a case of catering to your core audience first, and then once they've been catered for, expanding to a wider audience. Jamal, what did you think of the level design?
Actually, you know, it's interesting. That's the big reason I'm here, is I'm very avid about level design, and you know what, I bring up Space Marine again, and I'm a big lore fan, and I found that the scale in Space Marine wasn't accurate enough. I've seen some of their buildings, they're huge. They're the Gothic architecture that I was expecting. Like when I read a Black Library novel, I imagine these just unbelievably ridiculously sized buildings. And
that was what he saw, was the smallest outpost.
Yeah, and they're just running around in it, and I was just like, this is what I like to see. And I even got to see some of the more refined and detailed models, and I mean, they're getting in there. They're doing. It really shows. I mean, I probably wouldn't have even come out here if I hadn't realized how much they care about the game. And you know how you were talking about the founder pack, and I've kind of been sitting here like a quiet little rabbit. But
he didn't know most of the stuff, so I'm he's knowing in advance. Again.
Yeah, actually, I haven't been on, like, I had to drive here this morning, and I haven't been on my computer or anything like that, so I don't know anything's really going on. But you know, you play 40K. You know how much buying a model is worth, right? And I'm sure what's the most expensive model you've ever bought?
Too much.
But see, now think about it. I recently purchased a Land Raider. I bought it because I was like, oh, you know what? It's awesome. And I play small game points. And so that Land Raider that I bought now just sits on my shelf. It's also like one of my monoliths after they changed some rules. But that is something I looked at after, and I'm like, you know what? If this game is going to be what I expect it to be and is what I've seen so far, me throwing money at a Founders Pack just so I can play it even sooner is the same as when I walk into a games workshop and look at a shelf and see a really cool model, purchase it, and then end up leaving it on my shelf primed and unpainted. You know?
Except that will give you some early game module access that will allow you to start doing it, start priming it.
But that's the thing that I've started looking at things differently because of stuff like that. Like ever since I got into 40K a few years ago, you know, people ask me like, why do you spend so much money on a little plastic toy? And I'm like, well, I have a friend who bought a bunch of special edition of Gears of War. I'm like, why are you spending so much money for a fake plastic gun? You know, it's like, you're just going to leave that on your wall. But it's, you know, when it comes down to it, when you're a fan of something and you really enjoy it, you know what, I just throw money at stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing that I've spoke to a few people about who are fans of the 40k universe but simply can't afford to do the modelling side of it. They can't afford to do the hobby. And they're really excited about having finally an MMO, especially after having the disappointment of THQ going under.
Yep.
But I have a question for you. Will they be able to afford the 40k for $40?
Yeah. Well, I don't see why not.
That's the thing. That's the thing I didn't want to tell you, but I had to tell you because of that. So the lowest package is 40k for $40.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, you can buy what? You can go in and get one of those special HQ models for what, 25?
Yeah, but I mean, it's a case of like to build an entire army on the modelling side, it becomes very, very expensive. Whereas if you are on a budget, paying a one-off price of say $40 and then having that game to play.
Which model costs $40 in the tabletop?
Just a few.
Are you big one? Or
No, even just like HQ models. You can go like, I don't know. You're out in England, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's different.
Expensive here.
Here, I mean, let me think. Something like Commander Farsight is like almost $50. Right?
It's an expensive hobby, and I think there's a lot of people who are fans of the universe and fans of the lore who are finally going to get to play in that universe, whereas they couldn't before because the tabletop was too expensive for them.
And there's not a single, even the heroes, the most expensive items in the store in points, there's none of them that cost more than 40,000. They all cost less than 40,000. That's why I'm saying it's not tiered. So even if you buy the lowest possible package, you still can buy the most expensive item, except the limited one, because that they're in cash, they're not in points. So and you know, once the game launched, these will all be gone through the founders. One thing as well that when we talk about transparency, and not only that is, you know, in the industry often for premium player, the industry call them whales or thing like that. It's something that I refuse to do. So I don't insult people that pay my mortgage. That just goes against my mind. You know, so I call them premium player. But the premium player, when they will set up their build basically. I cannot, especially the one that will buy the smallest package, $40. I see often in other funders program items in the store that cost more than the smallest package. That means that you sell an item that you tell the market basically, guys, this item is worth more than the game, because that's what you're doing. When you sell an item more expensive than the game client, that's what you're telling them. That item has more value than the whole game, which is completely sick. The other thing that, and if your viewers can actually comment on the video once you're going to post it, I've decided, again, not to treat you like kids, and that 9.99 cents thing, you know, where marketers think that you're too dumb to know that it's 1 more cent before you get to the full amount. There's no 19.99 and 99 cents thing, so it's straight numbers. You might think it's a detail, but it's about not insulting your viewer intelligence, basically. So it's all about that. It's straightforward, nothing hidden, very clear. We're not building it like a mobile carrier plan where you look at it as you can compare, because they made it sure you can compare. You know, we're doing very straightforward, very honest approach. Same thing that if you buy the $40 for 40K package, because you're a student, you don't have a lot of money, that doesn't matter, because there's 2 ways you can get the big package. Either you pay for it or you work for me. What I mean is we have a whole reference program that is in there. So if you refer enough friends that buy a package, each time that you refer a friend, I'll upgrade your package. And up to, you can go to the biggest package by referring enough friends. You can get the biggest package without paying a cent, and you get all the benefit of it as well. So again, it's straightforward. You either give me money or you work for me and I pay you a commission. Simple as that. When you buy the group packages, it's the same thing. I give you a discount. It's very clear. I give you a volume discount. So as an example, if you buy one of the biggest group package, you're getting the most in the group package is only the biggest package, biggest single package that we offer. So basically, you're getting the biggest package for the price of the middle one as a discount. So again, nothing hidden, nothing like that. So that's basically a very straightforward approach, full transparency and trusting our fan.
And finally, we've got E3 coming up very, very, very shortly. So what can you tell us about E3 this year?
That's the part that I can't tell you too much. Besides telling you that we're going to launch our new website, the Founders Program. Oh God, how can I tell you this without you guys? You're too bright, because and I'm too weak because I get excited and I want to tell you everything, and then I get into trouble with the team after because I reveal too much. So, okay, we will have a booth. We will have some Inquisitor walking around, and I don't have time to do an ARG, sorry. And I know that saying that I won't do an ARG, probably all the fans that have done ARG with me before, they'd say, oh, that means he's going to do one. No, I really won't. I really don't have time to do one for E3. So let's put that down. But yeah, there's going to be so many good news announced, but I just cannot tell you. And if I give you hints, guys, you're too bright. It's something I could do to a different channel than Cosmic Engine, but with Cosmic Engine, your readers are too educated in the 40K universe and following us, so I just can't tell you more. Sorry. Sorry.
Well, that's fine. Well, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for joining us, both Miguel and Jamal, and no doubt me and Miguel will be talking after E3.
Yes.
Once again, which will be about nearly a year since you first came on the show, just after E3.
Fantastic.
So that'll be fun. So thanks very much. As I say, do comment on the video because Miguel always reads the comments.
Yeah.
And thanks very much for watching.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. You're a fan that just drove 2 hours from Ottawa to play the game?
Yeah, all the way.
I didn't actually know, but you're playing our first version of caves in PVE, which I've never seen, so I'm going to see it exactly as the same time than you. So I don't think that we can be more transparent than a fan seeing it before they had a studio. So you've been following the game for a while. Okay, so now the only thing is it's a PVE, but we don't actually have the AI for the Tyranid. So you're just gonna maybe kill other players. So right now all the devs are playing, because we do our Friday playtests, and all the devs are playing right now. And we'll watch you play. You look like you're enjoying it.
Yeah, you know, you get into it a little bit.
Okay, so I'll stop the video there, but make sure to, Jamal, as a fan, is going to be interviewed by Cosmic Engine in a few moments after, and Cosmic will release its video, so if you want to know how did he like it and what was his feedback, then you listen to Cosmic Engine, he'll tell you. Alright, take care, fans. Say bye to everybody.
Bye-bye.